Hello there, welcome to Swordfight GarageBand. Today we continue our exploration of the 17 Hauptstück of the German longsword tradition. Today we'll be focusing on the Zwerchau, or crosswise cut. The Zwerchau is one of the master cuts that will utilize the false edge of our blade and the thumb grip position on the handle of our blade so that we can use the false edge to cut into our fencing partner. When we begin in Vom Tag, just like with the Schildhau, we'll utilize the bottom hand to turn our blade as we're drawing it towards our fencing partner. But this time, we'll utilize the tip as it swings outward towards the side of our opponent's head, keeping our hand on the blade but loosening the grip such that we can turn the blade and reposition our hand into the thumb grip. From this position, we're able to cut out and towards our fencing partner and keep our quillions in such a position that they can catch a descending cut coming towards our head or upper quadrant. The Zwerchau is also an excellent way to draw closer to our opponent, keeping our head safe by providing a guard to their descending cuts while we engage with the blade and cut around into the side of the head, or get the tip of our sword close enough that we can extend forward into a thrust. When throwing the Zwerchau, we can easily cut from one side back around to the other. And the speed with which we can throw that cut can outpace most opponents' ability to defend themselves, with successive Zwerchaus being a means by which to get through somebody's defense. We can also, instead of trying to speed up that cut to one side, reposition, and cut again back to the same side of our opponent, or utilize a different cut or push from the bind to engage our opponent in a different manner. The Zwerchau can be thrown closer to our fencing partner from a position such as Kron, where our blade is in contact with our fencing partner's blade, or our hilts or hands are in contact with one another. And the Zwerchau can be thrown from this position lower into our opponent's arms or body, into either side whilst we're fencing. While the Zwerchau is an explosive cut that can help keep us defended, one of the things we have to be careful about is the fact that this cut will be slower than a straight Zwerchau or Schildhau into our opponent. That comes down to the fact that when we perform a Zwerchau from Vom Tag, the tip of our sword is traveling much farther than when we're performing a simple Zwerchau. From the Vom Tag position, when I cut down into a Zwerchau, the tip of my sword and the angle of my sword is moving less than 90 degrees from this position to this position. But when I execute the Zwerchau, the tip of my sword has to move down into that flat plane and then across over into my opponent's target zone. This means that the Zwerchau as an opening cut can take longer to perform than the Zwerchau. So what it provides in a defensive position against a downward cut, it may lose in the speed that it takes to make that cut as compared to the Zwerchau. However, that timing difference from Vom Tag doesn't exist if we're already throwing the cut from a position in which we're in the bind. For example, from the bind, if I cross over to the left side of my body, the timing of that cut doesn't matter so long as I maintain contact with my fencing partner's blade, keeping me safe from within the bind. Also, if my blade is already extended into the Zwerchau, cutting back and around into the other side of my opponent's head may very well be the quickest cut that I can make.